So you can see the heading here of the example says we're going to multiply a monomial and a trinomial. So help refresh my memory. What is a monomial? It's a polynomial that has only one term. That would be negative 4x cubed here is my monomial. And x squared plus 3x minus 4 would be my trinomial because it has three terms. And then it's asking me to find the product. What does product mean? We talked about this on...
Answer to a multiplication problem.
Product is an answer to a multiplication product or multiplication problem. So what we're doing here is we need to multiply our monomial by our trinomial. So let's write this down as a multiplication problem then. So I've got negative 4x cubed. And if I want to show that I'm multiplying this by something else, the way we do that is we write that monomial right beside something that's in parentheses. So that would be x squared plus 3x minus 4. And because the monomial is right beside a trinomial in parentheses, that lets me know I'm multiplying it by the entire trinomial. You can put a monomial in parentheses, but you don't have to. Okay, so if you put that negative 4x cubed in parentheses, that's fine. But when it's a monomial, you do not have to. Now that's not going to be true for binomials that we're going to look at in just a second. But here, if I need to multiply this by the trinomial, I have to multiply all three terms. Does anybody remember what we call this? We are going to distribute. And so we need the first term, the monomial, to be multiplied by every other term. So the question is, what is negative 4x cubed times x squared? So I'm going to write this down. You don't have to necessarily write this part down. But I'm going to multiply negative 4x cubed times x squared. Then I'm going to multiply negative 4x cubed. So the negative 4x to the third is going to be multiplied by 3x. And then I'm going to take the negative 4x to the third, and I'm going to multiply that by the last term, which is negative 4. So again, this step is not one that you have to write every time. All right, but I'm going to do it all day today, just so you guys get in the habit of seeing what it is we're multiplying by each other. So now all we do is multiply and simplify. So what is negative 4 times 1? That's negative 4. And then what's x to the third times x to the second? So this is where you have to remember when you multiply powers, you keep the base the same and you add the exponents. So this is negative 4x to the fifth for the first multiplication. Now do the second multiplication. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Now what is x to the third times x? Well, remember there's an understood 1 there. So this is x to the third times x to the fourth. We would add the exponents. Did I say x to the fourth? X to the third times x to the first, which once I add the exponents gives x to the fourth. Then the last multiplication. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. The x to the third has nothing to get multiplied by, so we're going to write down x to the third. Now, once we distribute, we have to look. Do we have any like terms that we can combine? Here we do not. None of those are like terms. So this is my final answer. Also notice that the final answer is in the standard form of a polynomial. You see how we're in descending order. This is my highest degree term, fifth degree term, fourth degree term, third degree term. We always want to put our answers to polynomials in standard form, or we're decreasing. Okay, here, so it wants me to do the same thing, distribute, but this time I have a binomial being multiplied by a binomial.
I feel like it's going to be something like very simple.
Well, there's nothing that's in parentheses that's like terms. And you notice, like, the problems you were working the other day, when you had things in parentheses, it would look something like, if this was 2x plus 4 plus x minus 5, you see how there's a plus sign between those parentheses? Then you can drop the parentheses. You're just combining like terms. But here, there is no sign between them. There's parenthesis touching parenthesis. That means we are multiplying. So the only way I can combine is if there's like terms here, there's not, or like terms here, there's not. So there's nothing I can do combining like terms before. So what I need to do then is distribute. Here's how we distribute. Take your first term, and you're going to multiply it by everything in the second parenthesis.
What do you do with the 4?
Take your first term and multiply it by everything in the other parenthesis. So again, this is the step that I probably wouldn't write out, but I'm going to write it out right now so we see what's going on. I'm going to take 2x and multiply it by the x. Then I'm going to take my positive 2x and multiply it by the negative 5. Right? That's me distributing. Then I'm going to take the second term, which is the 4, and I'm going to multiply it by everything in the second parenthesis. So I'm going to take the positive 4 and multiply it by x. Then I'm going to take the positive 4 and multiply it by negative 5. So I took 2x, I multiplied 2x by everything in the other parenthesis. Then I took the second term, 4. I'm going to multiply it by everything in the other parenthesis. Distributing. Some people teach you a trick, and I don't like it. Whenever it's a binomial times a binomial, you might hear other teachers say, or you might see it somewhere, people write out FOIL. What they mean by that is you're going to multiply the first terms by each other. So I'm multiplying the 2x by x, that's first. Then we're going to multiply the outside terms. So what are the ones on the outside? 2x and negative 5. Then we're going to multiply the inside terms. Then we're going to multiply the last terms in each parenthesis. First, outside, inside, last.
Okay, that's done.
But all we're doing is what? Taking 2x and multiplying it by everything over here. Then we're taking the 4, multiplying it by everything.
Yeah, that's simple.
The reason I don't like this is because it only works for one case. Binomial times binomial. If we do a binomial times a trinomial, it's no good. Monomial times a trinomial, it's no good. Just remember, everything by everything.
Would you do the same thing if it was a binomial times a trinomial?
Multiply everything in the first one by everything in the last one. Yes. And we're going to see that before we let down. This is the one you're going to have the most in Algebra 1, is this. Binomial times a binomial. Okay? So what is 2x times x? 2x squared. Remember, this is x to the first and x to the first.
So do we put it in standard form after we get it?
Yep, we're going to do that in just a second. But yes, it should be in standard form once you get done. 2x times negative 5. Negative 10x. Positive times a negative is a negative. 4 times x is positive 4x. 4 times negative 5. Negative 20. That's correct. Once you get done distributing, you always check, are there any like terms? Anything that I can combine? Right here I have like terms. Negative 10x plus 4x, we're going to combine those. That is negative 6x. Because they have different signs. Subtract the numbers, keep the sign of the dominant number. So that's negative 6x. So I have 2x squared minus 6x minus 20. That's my final answer.